Is that thing going to fit? Probably a question you've never heard before, but don't worry. With the pricing in week 8, that's about to change. You're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman and myself, Dave Loughran, try and build a beauty, take down a tournament with one of the 3 lineups we're going to build in this here video right now. I'll lay the foundation, build out the core. Josh will take it to the single lineup sims and let that do the rest of the work. Let's see how it does. As always, if you guys don't mind, you'd be so kind, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It's free and it helps us quite a bit. And of course, if you would like to get a free month of NFL Sims Max, all you got to do, leave a comment down below. Let us know who you think is going to have the most receiving yards this week at any position, but it has to be on the main slate. And if you are correct, free month of the Sims Max may be coming your way. Let's get to the video. All right, so first lineup here, by popular demand, I've got to do it. I've had so many people on all of the live shows we've had all week long. Of course, you can find them right here on the channel, NBA, NFL, NHL, and everything else. If you've discovered us recently and you didn't know, we've got a ton of live content. If you're big into DFS, come hang out. Just the question I've been getting, Loughy, can you build a lineup with like the big 3? You know, there was one question, could you do Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, and McCaffrey? Actually did that on a show earlier today. It worked, but it's dicey. This one, we're going Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, and Jamar Chase. We're going to throw in Joe Flacco for good measure to make sure we complete that skinny stack. Now, do I think this is the best way to do it this week? Probably not, but I also think you can get some good lineups, especially if Nico Collins and Christian Kirk end up not playing. You're looking at guys like Dalton Schultz, Jalen Noel, who I actually like over Higgins, but you have Jaden Higgins as well, and a lot of other cheap tight ends. Probably end on a decent amount of double tight ends this week in a build like this, and you have a lot of cheap quarterbacks. So I was happy to do this lineup because while it may not be my preferred build, I do think it's possible to make it work. Jonathan Taylor's got 3 touchdowns in 3 of his last 5 games, but you're still going to need a lot from him to be optimal at 9,500. Bijan Robinson has an absolute kill spot at home against the Miami Dolphins defense. And Jamar Chase, the only concern here is that they possibly go up early and they spread the ball around more, or they go to Chase Brown more on the ground against the 0-7 Jets team that is likely going to be without Sauce Gardner. So yes, it's a fun build. I like it, but also keep in mind the running back position is very deep. I ran the actual pre-contest sims, and I was getting basically none of guys like J.K. Dobbins and Chase Brown, who I think are actually in pretty good spots. Even a Saquon Barkley, if you wanted to get weird this week, probably pulling single-digit ownership, and A.J. Brown may not play. So you have no shortage of options at running back, but if you wanted to build it like this, it probably can work. We're going to see just how well it works when Josh runs the single lineup sim right now.
Well, this is going to be a pretty fun setup. Loughy's just given us the goods to get started. I'm ready to build this one out. So obviously, Joe Flacco in at the quarterback spot, not going to be massively owned. 8.5% still interesting, but no shock to see big ownership on Jamar Chase. Jonathan Taylor is always going to be pretty heavily owned, 9,500. Bijan, 35% owned, 8,800. We're firing off a ton of salary to start. So I love that Loughy is giving me 10% randomness here. We need these final couple spots to be a little different. We're already eating some heavy chalk. That's going to dictate the rest of this lineup. $18,200 left, 5 spots to go. We're going to see some gross. I'm anxious to see what it makes the lineup do. We're going to click complete this lineup to fill it out. Yeah, some of it ended up being pretty gross. Dalton Schultz, not crazy. Zay Flowers, we ate some more ownership here. He's heavily owned. Like it. K. Dotton, totally fine. Happy to have this dual tight end set. Browns D, what are you going to do? 2,500, you got to fill it somewhere. But the true paydown, Jaden Higgins, low owned, 3,500. We have $100 left. Let's see what this lineup looks like. I'm pretty optimistic of what we have here. I like the ownership balance. I told you I like this build. 162 sim ROI. This is a gem, folks. We don't build them this good this frequently. Sometimes you just hit it, and we hit it. 0.5% chance to win, 47% cash rate. we're going to have a hard time building a better one than this. We might just cut it off right now. This is the perfect lineup. There were only 4 of you brave enough to take Dalton Schultz as the highest scorer, sub 5K, and those 4 people are spinning on the wheel right now. The winner of this wheel spin is the winner of everything, and they can email support@stokastic.com to claim the prize. Oh, and it's a nice one for me. Friend of the program, longtime viewer at Stokastic.com, NY Stiegel. Take a screenshot right now. Email support@stokastic.com. Claim your prize.
All right, our second build here, guys, of course, if you ever want to use these tools for yourself, not just a single lineup sim, but literally everything we have. The sims, the post-contest sims, great for NFL, even better for basketball. The our late swap tools, you name it, ownership, player projections, top stack, boom bust, everything. Take 25% off any monthly package, core or max, with the link in the description. Perfect 25 is the promo code. You can use that as well. But if you want to forego all of that, click the link. It'll auto load the code and you can grab 25% off any month of NFL you want and be like these guys in the mid stakes or high stakes fields, or like these low stakes players who have absolutely crushed this NFL season. We got something for everybody, man. So come check it out with that link. Promo will jam in for you. Nothing you have to do. The one thing we do have to do, however, is play some Lamar Jackson plus Henry plus Flowers builds. And I know you're going, yeah, but the negative correlation. I get it. I do. But also, why are these guys so cheap? This is all under the assumption that Lamar Jackson plays, and I'm recording this on Friday morning. It's possible that he doesn't get a full practice in today. He's been limited all week, but I think he will play. And the line at 9 is 6.5 at home suggests that he's going to be out there as well. Does anyone want to tell me why, Lamar Jackson has come down? He was 7,500 in his last game before injury. Now he's 68. So he's come down $700. Derrick Henry, the last time Lamar Jackson played, was 72. He's down $1,200. And Zay Flowers was 6,700. He's down 1,300. For what? For nothing. If Lamar Jackson comes back, we have to assume that in all likelihood, this is the exact same team, or at least offense, that we were getting pre-Lamar Jackson injury. And I'll do you one better, right? This is why I don't mind pairing all 3 of these guys. They would have been 21,400 if you stacked all 3 of them on Lamar's last game before injury. Now they're 18,200. But there's this as well. The defense actually got healthy. When you had this team earlier in the season, right? The defense was gutted with injuries, right? And now getting them healthy means that should be a neutral to positive game script where all of these guys can do serious damage and they could put up enough points to where there's no real cannibalization concerns. They're coming off of a bye week. The defense is almost entirely healthy. That is very good news for the offense. Let's see how it sims out with Henry, Lamar, and Zay Flowers.
Well, this should be a fun setup. We had Zay Flowers in the first lineup. He's back again here. To pair with his teammates, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, I like where Loughy's going here. We've got some ownership going to all 3 of these guys. Clearly, fun matchup here against Chicago. This could be a great get-right spot for Baltimore. Those are big ownership numbers. We've got 5% randomness set. We had a very different build in that first run. I think we're going to see a lot of different names this time out. Maybe tight end and defense looks a little similar. 31,800 left. Let's click complete this lineup to see it. And I was very, very right. Completely different lineup. Jamar Chase does show up in this one again, as does Cade Otton. We bring Rachaad White in, so we've got this dueling Bucks sub-stack. Michael Pittman ends up in this lineup. Breece Hall. And finally, Dolphins D against Atlanta, only 2,200 there. We spend the full bag, projected 145, ownership 146. For reference, that first lineup, 144-ish projection, 153 ownership. I gotta be honest, guys, I think we built something better than the first one. I'm not even sure what to say. 202. 0.6 sim ROI, 50-50 cash, 0.6% chance to win. Look at the balance between ownership and value. We knocked it out of the park. I didn't think we'd beat the first one. We crushed the first one. 202? The perfect lineup is perfect today, baby. Maybe taking a day off yesterday did something for us.
Our third and final lineup for the perfect lineup, week 8 edition. we'll have an exclusive over on Tails as well. Those have performed quite well, I must say. If you've been hanging out with us over on Tails, download the app. And for those of you guys who are enjoying it, make sure to leave us a rating and a review, preferably 5 stars. If you like it. If not, don't worry about it. If you do, hit us with a review over in the Apple App Store. It helps us a ton. But we've been crushing over there, just getting a ton of volume down for DFS and for bets. The leaderboards are up. You can now see all of the people who are crushing. We have an algorithm that puts all of the best bets to the top of the list. And not only that, some of our ladder plays, maybe Jordan Addison 10-1 to 100 yards last week. Yeah. And I posted a ladder already in the Houston Texans game. So be sure to check that one out. I got a lot more coming up today for Sunday's slate. And Josh, a lot of NBA stuff as well. So if you're not there, what are you waiting for? You may be waiting for this third lineup, and you're going to get it right now. And it starts with Bijan Robinson and Drake London, but it does not end with Michael Penix Jr. or Kirk Cousins if Penix is out. I think this is a fun way to build and get exposure to the Falcons. Going Bijan and Drake London with no quarterback and running it back with Devon Achane. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be super contrarian. No. However, I do think this is a really, really fascinating spot to say, all right, I'm not necessarily convinced that Penix needs to have a big game against a horrendous Miami defense. But in the event that the Atlanta Falcons score points, Bijan's probably going to do a lot of the work. Maybe Algier gets worked in more. Of course, he has seen a lot of opportunities in positive game scripts, far less when they're playing from behind, virtually none. But him and Drake London, Bijan and Drake London, could both have huge games where nobody else does anything worth of note, including Michael Penix Jr. The run back with Devon Achane, who has been somewhat quiet, tough matchup last week in bad weather against the good Browns defense at home. Understandable. He's still going to get a lot of work, trade rumors or not. Let's run this. Bijan, Drake London with the Devon Achane run back and see how it sims out.
I don't know how Loughy's going to beat the previous 2 lineups. This is going to be a tough one. We're starting with Bijan, we're starting with Drake London, and we're starting with Devon Achane. So we're getting a 2-man Atlanta stack. We're bringing someone back from the Miami side, but we are not using, at least to start, Michael Penix in this lineup. I'm anxious to see where this stacking ends up. These guys are owned. 35 to Bijan, 20 to Achane, 20 to Drake London. So we are going to find some unique spots through the rest of this lineup. But what in the world will we fill out with? Are we going to end up with a naked quarterback in this one? That's something we could fix if we wanted to, but this is the most open we've been out of these 3 lineup builds. How do we catch lineup number 2? Let's click complete this lineup. No randomness. This is just optimal. My expectation, this is going to be the worst one. Not that it's a bad lineup, though. It ends up going to Joe Flacco. We see him again. Jamar Chase enters this lineup, so we get that clean stacking. We also have the Bengals D, so good representation against an absolutely garbage Jets team. Schultz, Likely, Flowers once again. We've got these drops in ownership. Likely, for example, not all that owned. I like the lineup. We have 20 percentage points more of ownership than we did before. This is going to be lower than 2, but it's still good. And while this is simulating on the back end, don't forget, bonus perfect lineup on Tails. I'll be tweeting that one out later today, maybe even tomorrow. Maybe you'll get an extra bonus, a third bonus on Sunday. But bonus lineups can be found on Tails. 98.4% sim ROI. Somehow I'm let down by that number, but we still built a gem. 0.3% win rate, 45% cash rate, plenty of different directions to go. Lineup 1, lineup 2, lineup 3. It's the same story all the time. We know how to build them perfect.